Dinosaur Adventure Land in Lenox, Alabama, August the 30th, 2023. I gave 4 tours today. It's a busy day. We had visitors coming from all over the place. I love this place. It's great. Come on down, visit Dinosaur Adventure Land. Tonight, Whack an Atheist, Dr. Richard Gashmu Dawkins again. We're going to go through his speech he gave and pick out all the just plain lies or misinformation. Okay, so tonight, do fossils prove evolution? No. We're at the place where God gets the glory. We're on Rumble, and always keep that channel in mind because YouTube seems to like to shut us down for anything they can. So if they shut us off, go to Rumble, okay? If that doesn't work, try Dr.Dino on YouTube. If that doesn't work, try Odyssey. They're all listed on drdino.com, our website. Okay, let's see. August the 30th, Richard Gashmu Dawkins. Tomorrow night is Diatomaceous Earth Day. That's exciting, isn't it?
Yes, sir. You got a shirt.
I got a shirt, yep. Oh, right down here, yep. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Okay, stay open for free. Join our ministry. I want to be part of their 777. Help us give $1 a day if you can. $31 a month. Take us on as your missionary. Just go to drdino.com. It shows you how to do that. I can take that sign off now, can't I? Should I do it right now? I'll forget. Never mind. Okay. Make any checks to CSE, Creation Science Evangelism. Guy told me the story today when I was talking about the train track. Was that you from South Carolina telling us about? No. I said, if you lay your head on the train rail, you can hear the train 5 miles away on the rail. He said, yeah, that's how Yemassee got its name. I said, what? He said, there's a little tiny town in southern South Carolina called Yemassee. I said, okay. He said, years ago when the train ran through there, they were standing at the train station waiting, and they asked the guy working there, this happened to be a black guy, they said, is the train on its way yet? To listen to it. And they named it Yemassee. That's the story he told. Now, whether it's true or not, I don't know. But it is funny. Okay, let's see. Tonight, whack-a-mole. Okay? We play Dinosaur Adventure Land, Whack an Atheist Wednesday, based on the whack-a-mole game. Dr. Richard Gashmu Dawkins gets whacked again tonight. In the whack-a-mole game, the object is to wait till the mole sticks his head up and then whack him back down. It's fun. It's fast. When the mole sticks his head up, the goal is to see how fast you can whack him back down. Small children can learn to play and love it. We'll talk about that in a minute. See, I saw this sign at a business in Evergreen, Alabama. Warning, no stupid people beyond this point. The owner told me the sign doesn't work. They come anyway and walk on by because they're too stupid to read, or they think it applies to someone else. Most stupid people don't think they're stupid. Got a good point there. So adults love whack-a-mole. I like to whack them back down. You guys believe in evolution. You need help. I'm going to whack you down sweetly in Christian love, okay? Wait for an atheist to stick his head and make a silly claim that his evolution religion is true, has science to back it up, and we whack them back down in Christian love, okay? We've whacked lots of atheists, and a few have learned to keep their head down, and they stop making claims, and instead they go to something else. Some are kind of hard-headed. Oh, got a light off. There we go. Okay. Bright idea. Okay. Some are kind of hard-headed, have to be whacked over and over again, and I actually enjoy it. You think you can do a better job photoshopping than that, brother? Can you? No? So the winner tonight, once again, what's this, 4 times in a row now, Richard Gashmu Dawkins. You say, who's Gashmu? Well, God told Nehemiah to go back and rebuild the wall around Jerusalem. The Jews there the people there hated the Jews, and they wanted to stop them from building. They tried to stop him. So they came with a letter claiming it came from a very important man to tell them to stop building the wall. Very important man, yep. And they said, it is written, it's reported among the heathen, and Gashmu saith it. If Gashmu said it, it's got to be true. And some people use this idea that, wow, he's a PhD in something, it's got to be true. No, you analyze each fact, regardless who says it. If a guy has a square hat and yellow strings hanging from it, plus he's got a cool-looking robe, he has to be important. And anything he says is true. Is that the logic? Yeah. If a guy has a square hat with yellow strings hanging, plus he has a cool robe with stripes on the sleeves, and a guy who doesn't smile carrying the robe tail, plus 2 somber-looking men with shiny sticks walking in front, he has to be important. Anything he says is true. Don't doubt him. This is called the appeal to authority. Okay? It's a type of logical fallacy where somebody claims it's true because Gashmu said it. Okay. Claim that it's true because an authority said it. So that's what they do. It's called the appeal to authority, and that's exactly what they do with Richard Dawkins. Oh, Richard Dawkins said it. It's got to be true. No. He wrote books on the ancestor's tale, how we came from apes. So we left off last time going through some of his speech he gave at, I forgot what university it was now. Doesn't matter. Oh, Yale, whatever. Okay. Let me get over to that one. And let's talk about, Duke University. Here we go. He's talking about carbon dating. Finishing up here, we're going to get into fossils. What he's doing, he's explaining his book about evolution and how we know it's true. He just finished, we talked about it last week, about how none of the dating methods work. They're all based on some very obvious assumptions that a fifth grader can understand. You don't know the initial content. You don't know there's been no contamination. You don't know the decay rate's always been the same. We covered that last week, so get last Wednesday's message. Okay.
Before it starts to decay. And if you know the half-life of the original isotope, and you then measure the amount of the product of the radioactive decay and compare it with the amount of the original isotope, it's a very simple calculation to work out when that rock first solidified.
This is pure guesswork, okay? We covered that last week. I don't want to go through all that again about the carbon dating. None of them work. Carbon-14, carbon-13, potassium argon, rubidium strontium, lead-208, lead-206. All the radioactive elements have the same fundamental problem. You don't know the initial amount, and you don't know that it's always been decaying at the same rate. You can't know those things. Watch last week's video, or call me if you want to debate on it, okay? I'll do my channel, neutral channel. Okay, Richard, keep talking.
That's your radioactive clock, and that's how it is zeroed. It only works for igneous rock.
Igneous means it's been ignited, it's been burned. That would be lava, ash, stuff like that, igneous rock.
Doesn't work for sedimentary rock, and it's sedimentary rock that actually contains the fossils. So you have to use lumps of igneous rock as your clocks, and you date the sedimentary rock that lies underneath the igneous rock or or around the igneous rock or in the vicinity of the igneous rock. If you've got a bit of sedimentary rock that's sandwiched between two bits of igneous rock, then you can date it approximately. You can date about 1%, which is...
He's absolutely making up that figure, okay? But Gashmu said it. Oh, got to be true. I bet he had a square hat on one time. Yeah, got a degree from somewhere. It's got to be true. Okay.
Obviously, when you're dealing in billions of years, that's quite a lot. When you're dealing in only millions of years, it's not so much. And the beauty of these radioactive clocks is that we have lots of them, different isotopes. They are spread over an astonishingly wide spectrum of half-lives, ranging from tens of billions of years at one end to microseconds at the other end. And because there's overlap between the time scales that these radioactive clocks can handle, you can cross-calibrate them, you can verify them against each other, and they all point to a coherent, self-consistent picture. And it's from this that we know that the world is not 6,000 years old.
See, he is desperate to defend the religion of evolution, which needs billions of years. That's what his speech is about here. And that's what all the carbon dating, they're trying so desperately to keep time as their pacifier. Time. Oh, got to have time. If that doesn't work, more time. Yeah. You got to have it. Because without billions and billions of years, evolution looks real stupid. I think it looks real stupid with billions of years, but it's stupider without the billions of years. Okay.
But 4.6 billion years old.
So we know the Bible's wrong, and you know the Earth is 4.6 billion. Now what about 50 years ago when they had a different number than 4.6? What about in 10 years when it'll be 4.9 billion? They change the number all the time. I got textbooks that say the Big Bang was 20 billion years ago. Then they started saying 16 billion years ago. Then 13.772. Whoa. They keep changing it. They'll change. You watch. They're going to change the age of the Earth from 4.6 to something bigger. They need more time.
Evolution happened before we were born, and that's largely true. But there are a few examples where evolution happens so rapidly that within the lifetime of a working scientist, it's possible to see evolutionary change under conditions of natural selection on a time scale of mere decades. And that has been done a number of times And that's what that chapter is about.
I'd like to see some examples of that, Richard. You're saying within the lifetime of one scientist, you can see evolution. I think what you're going to have to admit, if you ever get honest about this, all we see is variations within the same kind. We see bacteria producing bacteria. Some are resistant to a certain drug. It's still a bacteria. We see dogs producing a variety of dogs. They've now developed, nearly 400 varieties of dogs. Chihuahua to Great Dane. And they're still dog. I'd like you to show me where you get a non-dog, okay, or a non-cow when you breed cows. I'd like to see that. I challenge you to a debate on this topic. Where is the evidence that you're claiming there is between in one lifetime that a man can see of a change that will change you to a different kind of animal? The Bible says 21 times or 24 times in the first 7 chapters, they will bring forth after their kind. That's all anybody has ever observed. That is science. If you wish to imagine your family tree, that's not science. That's your imagination. Go ahead.
Chapter 6, Missing Link. What do you mean, missing? This is about fossils, and it's a remarkable fact that the creationists, the people who were handing you those tax-free, origin of species, as you came in, they love fossils because they think there are gaps in the fossil record, and they think that this is somehow detrimental to the case for evolution. Well, of course there are gaps in the fossil record. What do you expect? We're lucky to have fossils at all.
Right. How many fossils are forming today, Richard? How many animals died in the last 5 years, would you guess, in the world? Trillions. How many chickens did they slaughter? Yeah. I ate a bunch myself. Yeah, okay. Where's the fossils? Are fossils forming today? Could it be that all the fossils formed in one big flood in the days of Noah? Huh? I mean, is that even a consideration? Oh, no. Each different age, aren't they? For billions of years. Look, it takes special conditions for a fossil to form, like rapid burial in mud, like Noah's flood would do.
If we didn't have a single fossil, the evidence for evolution as a fact would be totally secure.
There's Gashmu talking again. He's giving his students his confidence. We know evolution's true, even if we don't have any evidence for it. We know it's true. Challenge you to a debate. And all your students at Duke University, I'll take you all on, okay? All the teachers. There is no evidence for evolution. You understand? None. There is no geologic column. There is no fossil record. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Come on to the other kinds of evidence. But actually, we do have a lot of fossils. We don't have a continuous videotape of everything that's happened in the world. We don't have a movie camera. We have actually not a bad still camera, which takes flash photographs at irregular intervals. And obviously, what happens between those flash photographs is conjecture.
So an animal changing to a different kind, because you find a clam in one layer, and then you go up layers and you find a bird. We don't see the change from the clam to the bird, but we know what happened because we have still photographs of a clam and a bird. That's the logic they're using. We don't have any evidence at all of any animal or plant ever producing offspring other than its kind, like the Bible would say. And before you go off and argue about what's a kind, you tell me, show me the best example that you think of an animal changing to a different kind. There's 26 different definitions of the word species. You want to use that word? Show me your best evidence of any animal changing into what anybody with half a brain cell working would think is a new kind of animal. Show me the evidence. Is changing from a coyote to a dog, is that a new kind? No. Changing from a coyote to a bird, now that would be a new kind. Anyway, Richard, I'm calling you a liar. There is no such evidence that you're talking about. But you're speaking from the pulpit there like Gashmu, and the kids are going to believe you at Duke University.
But the photographs, the still photographs, which are the fossils, give us a reasonably complete picture in many cases. In some groups of animals, there are no fossils at all. But no creationist wants to say that they were born yesterday.
No creationist does say they're born yesterday, Richard. What's this called? Ad hominem attack. We claim God made them all like they are, same kind, 6,000 years ago. That's not yesterday. So give the position accurately. We believe God made everything to bring forth after their kind 6,000 years ago, and they've all been doing that ever since. Dogs have always made puppies, nothing else. Pigs make piglets, no change, nothing. Humans make humans. There are no examples for your religion of evolution. So don't say this yesterday stuff. Come on, represent our position clearly. I'm representing yours clearly. You believe every living form came from an amoeba or a single-celled creature. Isn't that an accurate presentation of what they believe? I think it's dumb. I'm not mocking your position by changing what you believe. You do believe an amoeba turned to a whale, don't you? Is that a second, Joseph? That you got a second video clip ready of the atheist admitting?
Yes, sir.
How many of those are you going to have when it's over with?
Quite a few. I have 4 right now.
You have 4? Are they all posted?
No, I'm going to post them on the 2nd when we get our channel back.
On September 2nd.
Yeah, on the 2nd.
Okay, a couple days. We get our channel back, and so we're going to post all the atheists saying, "Are you related to a frog?" Oh yeah, I'm related to a frog. Richard, are you related to a frog? Yes or no?
Flatworms have no fossils.
Are you related to a flatworm?
The only thing we know about flatworms is living flatworms. So as far as the fossil record is concerned, they might as well have been born yesterday, but no creationist thinks that.
You're right. Nobody does. And you think the flatworms evolved when they're very complicated. We covered those on our Making Babies series a couple weeks ago. You think the flatworms evolved from an amoeba or a single-celled creature, don't you? But you have no evidence for this at all. Not a single flatworm fossil. But you just believe it by faith, don't you?
Obviously, then they admit the existence of gaps in the fossil record. What we do not...
No, there is no fossil record. There are fossils by the trillions, but none of them talk. None of them have a date stamped on them. You guys are making up an idea of a record. No, it's not a record. They're just a bunch of fossils.
See in the fossil record, and this is the important point, we do not see a single fossil in the wrong place.
We don't? But let me get back over here, Richard. Just 1 second here. Okay. Are fossils, any fossils formed in the, are fossils ever found in the wrong place? This is a great article from 20 years ago. Let's see, no, more than that, 30 years ago. Are fossils ever found in the wrong place? Creation.com. Thousands have been found in the layer that you guys claim they shouldn't be in. So, Richard, you are simply lying or mistaken or ill-informed. See, if you found this fossil and brought it to Duke University and said, how old is it? First question they would ask, where did you find it? Because they're going to date the fossils by the layers and the layers by the fossils. We covered that before and showed you clearly. That's what they teach. That's what you guys believe. So you go ahead and believe whatever you want, but there is a lot of evidence of fossils being found in places you guys don't think they should be.
Wrong time. As J.B.S. Haldane said when asked what would disprove evolution, fossil rabbits in the Precambrian. Not a single anachronistic fossil of that kind has ever been authentically.
There's Gashmu talking again. Yes, they have, Richard. Many have. When they, who's a guy from Glen Rose, Texas, said he was, you were there in Glen Rose? Right. You want to come up and tell that story about the footprints and what happened? I'll make you world famous. Here, grab a chair, pull it up here. Because I know Dr. Bob. I've been to Glen Rose and talked to, that top will come off that chair if you grab it, so grab down low. There we go. All right. Brother, tell them who you are and what you do, and right there in the mic. Go ahead.
My name is Dan Weston. My grandfather's name is John Holder, and he was part of leading a expedition for the Smithsonian at the Paluxy River in Glen Rose, Texas. They had they had dinosaur footprints with human footprints side by side, and several activists had come in and destroyed those footprints, but there were several removed.
They destroyed the human footprints.
Correct.
Because after all, humans can't live with dinosaurs in their thinking.
In their thinking.
Right.
So they destroyed that record, tried to their best to
About
destroy
what
that
year
record.
was this when your grandfather went there to do that, would you guess?
It was back in the early 50s.
Okay. And now there's a museum there, Dr. Baugh, Carl Baugh, the Glen Rose Museum, a creation evidence museum. They find lots of human and dinosaur footprints together. But the atheists go in there and destroy the human footprints. Go ahead. Any more?
That's pretty much it.
All right. People don't believe you. You want to give way to get hold of it. You're going to be a missionary now to Central America.
I'm a missionary to Ecuador,
Ecuador.
South America.
And how do folks get a hold of you?
Through orphanos.kindful.com, or
Better spell that out.
you can look us up through www.orphanos.org.
Orphanos, how do you spell that?
Orphanos.
Orphan, like orphan and
Yes.
OS. Okay. That's Spanish for orphan?
No.
No, just you may. Anyway, good. Look them up. So yes, they do find things that are out of place and they destroy them because their theory is so important. Their geologic column is their Bible. All right. All right. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. All right. We'll give you the tour tomorrow. Okay. So, I'm sorry, Mr. Dawkins, you are mistaken, okay? Or you don't know your science. But fossils that don't match your geologic column are destroyed or moved or never published. And if a guy tries to publish, hey, I found a bird fossil in the Cambrian, they won't publish it because it doesn't match the accepted scientific theory. So you're mistaken, at least, okay?
Found, and it so easily could have been. The theory of evolution is massively open to disproof. It's vulnerable to disproof.
I think it's been disproven over and over. And we don't have to disprove it. You have to prove it. I made up a theory that the moon is made out of green cheese 20 feet down below the surface. Does that mean it's true until it's disproven? Who's going to go up there and dig a hole 20 feet deep? Huh? You guys, this is not how science works. The theory of evolution is not even a theory. It's a religious belief. You believe elephants and bananas have a common ancestor. You believe that. That's not supported by scientific evidence. We don't have to disprove it. You got to prove it's true. They got it all backwards, don't they?
But it's never been disproved. And that is the sign of a good, strong theory.
No. That's a sign you've picked something that you have to prove the evidence for it. So if I said I got a theory the moon is made of green cheese 20 feet below the surface, and it's never been disproved, therefore that's a good theory, isn't it? Gotta be. This is your logic, Gashmu.
Chapter 7, Missing Persons, Missing No Longer. This is carrying on the theme of fossils and dealing especially with human fossils. And I'm going to read a very short passage from the chapter on human fossils. It seems quite likely that the species we call Australopithecus afarensis, Lucy's species, you may have heard of the famous fossil from Ethiopia, Lucy.
Do you explain about how they mix the different bones together? Some ape bones, some human bones. Lucy is not a complete fossil, okay? It's a fraud. It's a figment of your imagination. And we cover all that in my video series, Creation Seminar Series. Get video number 2 about the so-called cavemen missing links. The whole chain is missing. There isn't even a chain. It's not like the links are missing. There is no chain. Doesn't exist. Nobody ever sees monkeys produce non-baby monkeys, or apes produce non-baby apes, or baboons produce non-baby baboons. Nobody ever sees this. But you got a chain connecting them all. Therefore, it's got to be true. We don't have to prove it wrong. You find a fossil in the dirt, all you could prove is it died. You could not prove it had any children that lived, could you?
Lucy's species included our ancestors of 3 million years ago.
There we go, Gashmu speaking. Got to be true. You forgot to wear the square hat and the thing hanging down, but go ahead.
Other fossils have been placed in different species of the same genus, and it's virtually certain that our ancestors were members of that genus. The first
It's virtually certain. Listen, he said it, and now how many people are going to quote him on this as if it now becomes true because he said it? This is how it works, isn't it, Gashmu?
Australopithecine to be discovered, and the type specimen of the genus, the type specimen is the one that's in museums, the first to be discovered, the reference one to which other discoveries are compared. The type specimen of the genus was the so-called tawny child.
The Tong Child has been very carefully debunked on numerous creationist sites. Check out answersingenesis.org, AIG, Institute for Creation Research, ICR.org in Dallas. They have done really thorough articles on what you're talking about. Richard, you're wrong. They have been completely debunked. Finding a bone in the dirt or finding a fossil, a skeleton in the dirt that looks like, wow, unusual chimpanzee. Okay. That doesn't prove it's changing to something else.
marks to the eye socket. The damage are identical to marks made by modern eagles on modern monkeys as they rip out their eyes. Poor little tawny child, shrieking on the wind as you were borne aloft by the aquiline fury. You would have found no comfort in your destined fame 2.5 million years on as the type specimen of Australopithecus africanus.
So the eagle picked up this monkey, hauled him off, poked his eyes out, scratched the eye socket. We find it, and now it's 2.5 million years old, and it's the ancestor of us today. You can tell that because the eagle poked his eyes out. I hope you guys don't drive on the highway, man.
Poor tall mother, weeping in the Pliocene.
In the Pliocene, one of their geologic layers, okay? The poor mother's weeping in the rocks, yeah, okay.
The next chapter is about embryology. Not directly evolution itself, but you can't avoid embryology because obviously what is actually evolving is the product of embryology. When the genes are selected, what we actually see in the real world is the product of an embryonic process.
Okay, I'm going to stop there with your diatribe. What are we on? 21 minutes. And I'm going to explain to you folks how he is either really way far behind the times or just plain lying about this, okay? Let's see. Let's go to seminar part 4 of my series where I talk about embryology. Get over here. Okay. Embryology. Seminar part 4. Oh, missed it right there. Lies in the textbooks. I would challenge you, Mr. Dawkins, to watch my video number 4, Lies in the Textbooks, and explain to me where I'm wrong. You are claiming that embryology is one of the evidences for evolution. Let me slideshow security. Huh? Wow. Never done that before. There it goes. Okay. There you go. By the way, you can get all my slides for, what is it, 50,000 of them? For what, $100 on a thumb drive?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, call 855 BIG-DINO. Here we go.
Scanning QR code.
Huh? There you go. Look at that. You beat me to it. Man, count those black dots and you get a prize or something. Okay, here we go. Merrill Earth Science book. Now, what's an Earth Science book talking about embryology for? But anyway, they're saying the embryo has gills like a fish. Oh, that was back in 1993. This is one of the lies in the textbooks. Those are not gill slits. Evidence for evolution from development, embryology. The similarity between early stages in development of many different animals helped convince Darwin that all forms of life shared common ancestors. What? Darwin considered this the best evidence they had. Haeckel called it the biogenetic law. Whoa, okay. Ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny. Wow, what's that mean? Ontogeny is the growth stages the baby goes through in the mother. Recapitulates, reenacts again, the evolution. The presence of fish-like structures in embryos of different species shows these animals evolved from fish. It's as if the embryo retains a memory of its origins and starts to copy them. I hope you folks at Duke University are able to understand this man is lying to you from the pulpit. Embryology has been proven wrong since 1874. Now, he wasn't even born then, but he's still teaching this because they're so desperate for evidence for their theory. He wrote a chapter on it. People bought his book, and are still buying his book. Evolutionary idea that sick mind Freud relied on was the idea that ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny. The development of the individual recapitulates the evolution of the entire species. Oh yeah, gills like a fish. This is a lie. These bones, these folds of skin develop into bones in the ear. The malleus, the incus, the staples, the thyroid gland, they're not part of the breathing apparatus. They never have anything to do with breathing. They're folds of skin under the chin. I've seen fat people with 5 or 6 chins. They can't breathe through any of them, okay? Poor Hillary, poor Bill. Anyway, yeah. Are those gill ports on the side of the Buick Roadmaster? No. Haeckel made up this idea. Haeckel said his turning point in his life was when he read Darwin's book. 1868, evolutionists were worried about the lack of evidence for Darwin's theory. Darwin come up with the theory. Oh, we got to find evidence because we like that theory. Let's somehow prove it wrong. Why don't y'all start working on my moon theory that it's green cheese, huh? Come on, everybody help me work on that theory. Okay. Ernst Haeckel, one of the worried evolutionists, decided to manufacture some evidence. The fraud began in 1868. Haeckel was drawing a family tree for mankind. He was worried about the gap between non-living and living organisms, so he made one up. To complete the chart, Haeckel created a bunch of organisms he called Monera. There are none. There is no such thing as a Monera. He made one up to fill the gap. 1869, Haeckel claimed to have discovered these organisms in ocean mud samples. Okay. He named them Bathybius haeckeli in honor of Haeckel. 1875, John Buchanan revealed Haeckel's discovery was calcium sulfate from seawater. Sorry, it's not a missing link. Haeckel refused to admit his fraud and reprinted the Monera drawings in his book. After all, when you sell a book, you make money, don't you, Ernst? Yeah, okay. Haeckel's fraud continued with his attempt to prove the only difference between man and ape is that man can speak. That's the only difference. He fraudulently created a missing link called Pithecanthropus alalis, the speechless ape man. He went so far as to have Gabriel Marx draw up the man-made creature. Here they got the drawings of the speechless ape man from no fossils. See, we know the theory is true. We don't need fossils. We don't need evidence. Just make up a drawing. He reached an all-time low when he began presenting his biogenetic law, known as the law of recapitulation. Haeckel taught that each animal retraces the stages of evolution in its embryonic development. He said, here's a dog and a human embryo at 4 weeks. Look, they evolved from each other. Well, here's Haeckel's drawings of the dog and the human embryo. They look just alike. On top are more modern, recent drawings. This is the chart that Haeckel made. All the animals on top. Let's see, the fish, the pig, the turtle, the human, they all look alike when they're embryos, don't they? He published that drawing. A doctor in England decided, let's check this out. He was an embryologist. That's what he did. He delivered babies and worked on them before they're born. He got Haeckel's drawings compared to actual photographs. The salamander, Haeckel, I don't look like what you drew. None of them do. Haeckel was taken to court by his own university, taken to trial. At the Jena University court, he confessed and said, a small percentage of my drawings are forgeries. Those for which the observed material is so incomplete or insufficient. Had to fill it in and reconstruct the missing links by hypothesis. Had to think about it, make up one. He said, I should feel utterly condemned, but hundreds of observers and biologists lie under the same charge. Oh, that's good. Everybody else lies, so it's okay for you to lie, right, Ernst? This was in 1874. His drawings were proven to be frauds. Despite the status as fake, Darwin continued to use this as part of his evidence for evolution when he wrote his book. He said in the book Descent of Man, right here on the shelf, the human embryo at early stage, period, can hardly be distinguished from that of other members of the vertebrate kingdom. All those frauds were brought to the public attention again in 1911 in a book called Haeckel's Frauds and Forgeries. Haeckel lied. Though few people know, the pictures were fakes. The deceit was exposed in Haeckel's Frauds and Forgeries, a book by Asmuth and Hull. They quoted 19 leading authorities of the day, anatomists, etc. It appears that Haeckel has in many cases clearly invented embryos or reproduced the illustrations given by others in a substantially changed form. It's a sin against scientific truthfulness. I agree. Despite the exposure, Western educators continue to use Haeckel's pictures for decades as proof for the theory of evolution. I got a bunch of biology books right behind me used in public school. It is still in these books today, right now. They're still teaching it. Kids are going to go to school in your town, public school, and they're going to be shown those pictures of Haeckel's fake drawings. Proven wrong in 1874. They got a scientific team together, photographed growing embryos of 39 different species. 1997, Dr. Richardson said, this is one of the worst cases of scientific fraud. It's shocking to find that someone that one thought was a great scientist was deliberately misleading. It makes me angry. What Haeckel did was take a human embryo and copy it, pretending that the salamander and the pig and all the others look the same. They don't. They are fakes. We can see at a certain stage, embryos of man and ape, this is from Haeckel's book, cannot be distinguished from each other. Okay. Haeckel's fake drawings, Dr. Richardson and his team researched it and said, sorry, you lied. In 1956, I was 3 years old. They said the biogenetic law as a proof for evolution is valueless. It's no good. 1969, the year I got saved. Moreover, the biogenetic law has become so deeply rooted in biological thought, it cannot be weeded out. We can't get it out of the books. The biogenetic law is as dead as a doornail. 1988, 1997. Haeckel confessed to drawing from memory and was convicted of fraud at the University of Jena, but the drawings persist. Here it is, 1998 textbook at the University of West Florida in Pensacola. Still got Haeckel's drawings. The chart that's been proven wrong since 1874. University of North Dakota, 2005, still using Haeckel's chart. Let's see, I downloaded this, last month? Embryos do reflect the course of evolution, but that course is far more intricate and quirky than Haeckel claimed. Different parts of the same embryo can evolve in different directions. They're still using this. So is Richard Dawkins, claiming embryology is evidence for evolution. Let me explain it to you, Richard. In 1859, Darwin said, I got a theory. We all got a common ancestor. We should find evidence. Haeckel faked his drawings 10 years later. 6 professors in 1875 proved the gill slits idea was wrong. Okay, what's that? Almost 150 years ago? Proven wrong. Why is it still in the biology textbooks? Gill slits on the embryo, gill slits, Glencoe Biology. Tim Barra up in New England, still teaching gill slits, Ohio State University. Let's see. Haeckel's fake drawings used by Kenneth Miller, the Catholic biology teacher up at Rhode Island. He wrote the book. Kenneth Miller's teaching that evolution is as much a fact as gravity. Kenneth, I'll debate you and all your professors anytime. Bring it on, okay? Look at this, still teaching this. The presence of gills and tails in the early stage is evidence for evolution. Biology Concepts, 2000 textbook right over here. Similarly, humans and fish embryos resemble each other because humans and fish share a common ancestor. Discover Biology. Here we go. Life Science book from, which one's that? Prentice Hall. Turtles, chickens, rats look similar during development. This is a lie, okay? They're lying to you. Tell them I said so, okay? Evolutionary history of animals, organisms as seen in the development of embryos. This is simply a lie. The world of biology, right? That one's over there on the shelf. Okay. The human has gill pouches. This is fake. Evolutionary history of organisms is seen in the development of embryos, Holt Biology. In the SAT test, you would have to answer that it's true to get a high score on the SAT. So if you're smart and you know the truth, you'll be marked down on the SAT test. You got to give the wrong answer to science to get the right answer for SAT. What's a kid supposed to do? Gill slits, Cliff's notes, AP Biology. Gill slits and tails found in fish, human embryos. I, for one, am absolutely sick of it. It's time somebody says, stop. That's why I think don't try to get creation into your public schools. Don't try to get evolution out. Demand that the textbooks be accurate and that lies be taken out. Gill pouches, Chickasaw, Oklahoma, still using it. It's the University of Science and Arts, Chickasaw. Gill pouches, there it is. Northern Michigan University, still teaching the students the embryos got gill pouches. They are lying to you, okay? Kent State University, look at that. Haeckel's fake drawing of a tortoise and a chick. Only proven wrong 150 years ago. Come on, Kent State. Don't you have anybody with some brains and some guts up there to stand up for truth? Let's see. Rachel Oates said, I'm lying and no one is still using gill slits as evidence for evolution. Rachel, you are lying or dumb. They're all still using it. Richard Dawkins just used it in his speech at Duke University a couple years ago. Embryology, gill slits, evolution with embryology, .blogspot. They got Haeckel's exact fake drawings right there, same chart. Embryology, biozoom. This is the fake drawings that Haeckel made. Why are they? What do you mean they're not still using it? Yeah, they are. SlideShare, Haeckel's drawings. All these life forms have gill slits. No, they don't. Evidence for evolution. We'll examine the evidence for evolution, anatomy and embryology, gill slits. Britannica. Come on, you British. Fire those people, okay? Kent, you're a wretched liar, among other vile things. It's not claimed those are gill slits. It's claimed they are structures which resemble gill slits and form into gills. No, it is never claimed that we have gills at any point in the development. Think of it this way. We have tails forming early during our development. yet a proper tail never forms. We do not have true and proper tails, yet we go through stages which give us a structure, which resembles one. No, that's the backbone growing first, and then the limbs coming off of it. It's not a tail. It's all backbone all the way down, okay? They're still teaching glycobiology, the gill slits, presence of gills and tails, embryos and embryology history. It goes on and on and on. Evidence for evolution from rhino. Let's see, viced rhino, there he is. Evidence for evolution. You guys, you're lying. Richard Dawkins, you're lying. There is no embryology that shows evidence for evolution. Those are not gill slits, they're not tails, but they're still teaching it all through the schools as this is somehow proof for evolution. Got some of these in here twice. Answers in Genesis has a great article on this, if you'd read that. Embryological evidence for evolution. That's Haeckel's exact fake drawings. What was this one? Blueprint for Life. I forgot to get the date on there. Just Google embryology. It'll come up, and it's Haeckel's drawings. 150 years proven wrong. Still teaching it. Gill slits, gill slits, gill slits. Just Google it. You'll find it. They are still teaching it, and it is still a lie. Encyclopedia Britannica has it. Evolutionary News. Let's see. Gill slits. I saw a preborn baby trying to get away from the abortion instruments. Finally, the reason they have to say it's gills, it's just a fish. It's okay to kill it. That's the whole philosophy behind evolution and abortion. You can kill it because it's got gills. It's not even human. Ben Wagner. I debated Ben Wagner. I'll take you on again, Ben, won't I? University of Arkansas. I'll take on your whole state, all your professors, okay? Those little folds of skin develop into bones in the ear and glands in the throat. They never have anything to do with breathing. Ben Wagner said, humans never have gills, and our gill slits don't normally open the way fish gills do, but we do definitely have the same basic structures, pharyngeal arches, that go on to form gills in fish. We've just evolved to modify them for purposes other than extracting oxygen. There's Ben. I, Kent Hovind, with my non-accredited degree, formally challenge you to round 2. Bring it on, Ben. I'll go on your university campus, debate them all. Come on. Professor Dave is still teaching. He used Haeckel's fake drawings. Dave, you're a great teacher in many areas of science and math, but you are either lying or way behind the times on this gill slit stuff. Homology is not evidence for evolution. You used Haeckel's drawings as evidence when you did your debate against me. What is wrong with you? All liars have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone. Whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, he'd be better off hanged with a rock around his neck. Okay, read Matthew 18. Thou shalt not bear false witness. You guys that are teaching this, and Richard, you're teaching this gill slit stuff, you are lying. This is from, who did this book? I forgot. Was it Reader's Digest? Pocketbook? Each child, as he is developing, is retracing the whole history of mankind, physically and spiritually. A baby starts off in the womb as a single tiny cell, just the way the first living thing appeared in the ocean. Weeks later, as he lies in the fluid, he has gills like a fish. American Heritage Dictionary, still teaching it. Biology, A Journey into Life, Arms and Camp, teaching it. By 7 months, it looks like a baby, but it's not. It's not a baby at 7 months. It's a human the moment it's conceived. Behold, thou art with fetus. No, I think you said thou art with child. Genesis. See, it's a child before it's born. But when Scott Peterson murdered his wife and the baby inside her died, in California you have to have a double homicide to get the death penalty. So they decided to call it a child. Paula Zahn, didn't you? Scott Peterson accused of murdering his wife and unborn child. Why didn't you call it a fetus? Well, they did that so he'd get the death penalty. You have to have a double homicide. Well, what if the mother would have killed it before without him killing her? Then it wouldn't be a murder at all, would it, in your thinking? 34% of babies born at 5.5 months survive. Anyway, here's a 21-week-old baby holding the doctor's finger. They're doing surgery on the baby before it's born. 12-week-old embryo. It's obviously a human. And you get the book, Icons of Evolution. They still keep this in the textbooks. That's the only way to justify abortion. We cover more on that in video 4. So, Mr. Dawkins, I'm calling you out, and anybody else who is teaching there's evidence for evolution, you don't have any. I will debate all of you. Call 855-BIG-DINO, extension 4. Joseph, book them. We'll do 5 debates every day for the rest of my life. I want you guys to stop lying. If you have some evidence, show it to me. But the gill slits is not evidence. Knock it off. Okay, any questions or comments? Crybaby's got to be in there.
He said it a couple times.
Okay. When one appeals to authority, the subject they are speaking is outside of their field of expertise. Dawkins is an expert in the field of zoology, so it's not an argument from authority. He's claiming to be an expert in evolution. Zoology is the study of animals, not how they developed. He can probably name lots of different animals. He could look at one and say, that's a zebra, that's a cow, that's a horse. I believe he could. That's zoology, nothing to do with evolution. So he's claiming his whole speech was the evidence for evolution. Go back and watch it. I'm sorry, crybaby. Try again. Go ahead. Next one. Here he is again. Creationist groups like ICR and AIG advise that the Biloxi tracks not be cited as evidence against evolution. Okay. Tell them, don't cite it. I've been there. I've seen it. You've been there. It's true. Okay. Tell them, don't cite it. But I will. Okay. More?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Taylor. When are you going to come visit Dinosaur Adventure Land? I don't understand why so many people believe that life can mutate all the way from an amoeba to a person to include all the necessary organs it takes to live. Yeah, how did the amoeba get arms, eyes, ears, hair? I agree. And Taylor, I think you're 12. My daughter's 12. I want you to come here and motivate her. She is getting really good, Lydia is, at taking care of animals, and she's learning all about them. She needs to start a channel teaching about God's amazing fish and God's amazing snake and spider. Come down here and motivate her to start her own channel, please, okay? Okay, sea science films. Richard Dawkins relied on the ring species concept, inferior definition of the term species, in order to claim speciation has been observed. Okay, I'll challenge him, take him on a debate anytime. Go ahead, brother. Carlos, debate me on the topic of if you're a sophist or on the topic of if you misrepresent evolution. What? I want to stick on one topic at all, one topic, period. Where is the evidence for evolution? Okay, Carlos, do you have some evidence for evolution? I'm not going to debate on what color we should paint the car, okay? I'm not going to debate on that. I'm not going to debate on, is the Bible true? I'm not asking it to be taught at taxpayer expense. You guys want your religion taught in all the schools, and you want us to pay for it, then you better have some evidence. So stick to the topic. That's the only thing I'm going to debate on. Where's the evidence for evolution? Come on, call 855-BIG-DINO, extension 4. Or you can email you. What's your Dr.Dino at Dr.Dino, DRDINO at drdino.com. Email it. Okay, set it up. Matthew, why doesn't a young earth creationist actually do something? What? I'm one of the busiest guys I've ever met. Don't I keep pretty busy around here? I work hard. Started at 4 this morning. Let's see. Why don't you try and disprove radiocarbon dating? I did. I showed all kinds of examples right from the scientific literature that doesn't work. Watch the video last week. Let's see. Gather scientific evidence to prove radiocarbon decay isn't consistent. Well, they've done that. I showed all the articles. It's already been done. I don't have the equipment to buy radioactive dating. I don't need to. Other people already own it, and they've already proved it wrong. Doesn't work. When they date living penguins at 8,000 years old, I think you might want to admit there's a problem here. Watch last week's, okay? Any more?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you. I'm tired. My throat hurts. See you tomorrow. Bye.